Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our strip where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome back to another episode of Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. Was that too loud for you fellas?
Loved it.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hola.
Alex,
Yes, sir.
how was your week, dude? Crazy?
No, I mean, you work in the mortgage industry. I don't think anything's crazy to you anymore. It's just normal life. Crap's hitting the fan. Oh, it's normal now.
Let's go into fantasy. I know that if crap's hitting the fan, I don't want to dig into that. It would just be a little muddy and dirty. We'll jump to fantasy aspect. How you feeling about your dynasty team? Yeah, you like that? Boo-doo-dooch.
Well, since I'm, Team JG Wentworth, I'm going for the win this year.
It's my money and I want it now.
Yeah, the way I look
The
at it.
geriatric squad, everyone.
Yeah. With 14 people, it's going to be hard enough for you to win it. So I might as well try to get the jump on it early. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with
Yeah.
it.
It's an approach.
Alex decided to send me a ton of text messages just ripping into my team. House,
Yeah,
you
buddy.
drafted this week. Before we get into your draft, your team in Dynasty, how was your week, man? Traveling like crazy for tryouts?
Yeah, man. Work in the morning and then softball and baseball at night. Been working baseball tryouts. Drove an hour and 15 minutes to watch 2 softball games the other night. Keeping busy,
Jeez.
brother.
Ming.
Ming.
Mario, I thought you'd like that one.
Ming?
A
I
little
don't know if
koosh.
I don't know if they're familiar with Koosh. I don't know if many. He's
Kush?
pretty popular, right?
Koosh. Kushine.
Kujin. He's a guy on TikTok.
He's
Does
the
a
man.
lot of cooking.
He's the man.
Crushes it because
Hilarious.
he
He doesn't
there's
cook.
a lot like here. I'll
He
send you guys
eats.
it later. Maybe we'll even like post it on Twitter too for anybody who hasn't
Yeah.
seen him. He reminds me and everybody that used to live with Rob our sophomore year of college. We're like, is this Robbie's like long lost brother? And like Robbie already got the Italian, like I'm from Ohio, but for whatever reason I talk like I got a little New York in me. He already has that. So
It's the east side of
Kujin-
Cleveland accent, I guess.
yeah.
With his talent.
Grew up
It's
around a lot of
talent.
Italians.
Yeah.
So House, how are you liking your team, man? How's your dynasty team treating you?
I have a couple concerns, but I'm relatively happy with it overall. Anytime you can get Jonathan Taylor at pick 9 in the first round, I think that's a win. Slow played quarterbacks because I wasn't up at the top of the draft for the super flex, but we'll be all right.
We were the
Who'd you
first
wind up
two
with?
running back. You were the first running back. I was second. Yeah, who
Yeah.
are your quarterbacks?
Who's your
I
QB?
ended up with Carr, which I'm happy with, and Goff as a backup, and then snagged my buddy Kenny Pickett, go PITT, and I think Ritter to stash. So
You stole
Shut up, Alex.
Goff from Alex.
Yeah.
he immediately tried to trade for him.
Yeah.
Give me a
Giving me all
first
this
next year.
crap about Goff, like, and then he's like, well, maybe Alex has made some sense.
I
Draft.
drafted him in like the 12th round, bud.
That's pretty high.
So there's the running joke in this league already that a lot of the guys that we usually get in arguments with Alex, because Alex seems to take the boldest takes out of everyone. He tends to fade those guys.
Sure does.
This time though, Tyler Lockett fell into his lap in like the 13th, so he
Had
he
to.
can't- yeah, he had to. But all these guys that he's always like dying on a hill for in conversation, and we just see him pass him up.
Because I don't know. I'm like, am I really like getting these guys on my side? Am I doing a good enough job convincing? Because they're taking them like they're valued higher than what their rankings say. House.
No, I
Is it golf?
definitely took him at the appropriate spot, backup quarterback, late in the
Superflex.
draft. It had nothing to do with the fact that you've talked me into it.
Sure.
He was, let's
Okay.
have a quarterback for a flex spot and be done with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to draft a quarterback I didn't like because that makes sense.
Well, when the other options were, I hate to say it, Mitch Trubisky and, folks like that, Goff at least had the upside with the receivers. You guys have banged the drum for the sun god for 2 months. So,
Yeah.
These are the Sun God boys. They get together on Sunday and they pray to him. They do a
Every-
ritual.
Every night when the sun's going down, me and Alex.
Yeah.
No, we don't even have to text each other.
Is
we
there a
just
song
sit there,
or a
Indian
dance?
You guys have a
style,
secret
and stare at
handshake?
the sun.
I just do the Ace Ventura alrighty then when the Ace Ventura 2 just that's what happens just for Sun God.
I got sun god, by the way. So
Yeah.
This
you did.
is going to be a tough episode for me. I feel like I do disservice when I'm on the show with you guys because I think a lot of times I'll be talking and just laughing. So it'll be just me cackling talking because I hate you guys. So Robbie and I had a cool question. It was fun. Already got some text messages about it today.
Yeah.
What TV shows have you watched or are watching that you're loving right now? I'll start with you, Alex.
I mean, I was watching The Boys, so that's
That's a given. We called it a given.
Yeah, The
You gotta go
Boys is.
deeper.
To be honest, dude, I don't like have a. I need to finish Marvelous Miss Maisel, the newest season. That's a funny one. Other than that, dude, I don't watch a lot of shows. I'm more of a movie guy.
oh,
Okay, we could flip
Yeah.
for you specifically, Rob. We'll talk about ours later, even movies. But what kind of movie have you watched recently that you loved? Was it Thor? Love and Thunder.
No, I'm not a child.
Wow.
I'm sorry, my attention span can last more than 3 minutes.
Wow.
the guy that just quoted Ace Ventura 2 is not a child.
Alrighty then.
That's a goat though. Ace Ventura is goat.
Recent
I
movie.
watched. I rewatched. I've been rewatching a lot of the Mission Impossibles and James Bond movies.
Oh, jeez. Well, James Bond's great. The Pierce Brosnan ones, or
All
Daniel
of them.
Craig.
Well,
All
Pierce
of them.
Brosnan's solid, but most of his movies besides Goldeneye suck. So
Goldeneye
I watched Die Another Day last night. I laughed the entire time at how ridiculous
Really? Is it
was.
that bad?
It's
As a kid, I
terrible.
remember liking that a lot.
Same.
GoldenEye more, but that one I liked.
Goldeneye's still good. It holds up, but Die Another Day is literally ridiculous.
I've never seen the Daniel Craig ones.
Oh, those are the best ones.
I've never seen
Any?
a Bond movie.
Oh, you either, House?
No, I've seen darn near all of them, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I have the Daniel Craig James Bond collector set. Like,
I'll have to borrow that.
yeah,
I'll have to
I don't
watch
know if
it.
it streams anywhere, truthfully.
Yeah, right now I think Amazon's streaming all of them.
Connery was the best
Oh,
one.
they bought out the
Yeah,
Lionsgate.
Yeah.
yeah. So watch them. They're all the Sean Connery ones, even the ones from the '60s, are still really good.
I'll struggle to get through those ones, but I might give them a try. How?
'Cause
You can't do
Scott.
old movies.
Old movies
I'm
are
a
tough.
bulldog.
House, what good shows have you watched recently?
I mean, I feel like I'm going to disappoint everyone here. I'm not in on a lot of TV shows right now. I just started
You can switch over to
rewatching
new
The
movies.
Sopranos in the background as I'm doing stuff.
R.I.P. to Tony Sirico, I think is his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, Ollie.
Yeah, Paulie. Yeah, that's what inspired me to restart.
Dude, the Italian mobsters going down, man. It's sad. It's sad to be Italian
Yeah.
right now.
It's been a rough year.
High blood pressure is bad.
A lot of meatballs.
Too much spaghetti.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll have the capicola and the gabagool. And forget about it.
Yeah, aside from that, man, I'm running too much. The kids control the TVs. If it's not sports, I'm not watching a ton.
Robbie, what I'm finding out from both Alex and House's responses, we have way too much time on our hands. But I think we already knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
I need my
House,
night.
any good movies?
And my
House?
night.
No, I got nothing. I offer nothing to this conversation.
I am nothing.
I've watched a lot of 7 through 13-year-olds play baseball and softball, but that's on TV.
Scouting.
Yeah.
Scouting. Doing the scouting reports.
That's right.
Rob, you said you end your night. I'm
I
sure
had
that's-
to end my night with a drink, sitting on the couch, one show, just kind of decompress for the let me relax, see what I got going on. And it just kind of makes me feel better at the end of the day.
I like it too. It's a nice little stress reliever.
Yeah.
What happens with me is I go too deep. I watch about 5 episodes, fall asleep on the couch.
Yeah,
At 3
right,
a.m.
bro. You
especially
get
after
warm milk and watch Santa Claus and go to bed.
Santa Claus, at least give it a Marvel movie.
after
You sitting
drinking
there
a cup
with
of coffee.
cookies, waiting for reindeer to come by. You,
Just had my coffee.
Scott Calvin.
I started switching to coffee instead of alcohol for the shows. Figure it probably wasn't great to be drinking 3 nights of the week. So, plus maybe possibly weekends. We're at coffee now. All right,
Yeah,
Rob.
coffee at 9 o'clock at night's a good idea too.
I don't go to bed till late, anyways. What do we got on some news going on today,
Yeah.
Rob? That sentence was bad. What's the news looking like?
It's looking cloudy. One little kind of hint of news: N'Keal Harry traded to the Chicago Bears for.
Which we forgot to go over.
Get ready for this: a 2024 7th-round draft pick.
That's a
That's
steal
value.
for the Pats.
That's a steal for the Pats,
That's
huh?
a steal for the Pats.
What are they going to get in the 7th?
A punter who will be all pro, probably. Who knows, man?
Dude, 2
As long
years
as
down
it's
the
not a
road,
wide
they're not gonna remember where it came from.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, where'd we get this pick again?
It's so gross that he could have a significant role on this offense, right? Like, because you're making that face, Alex, but like, what is there? What's stopping him? Byron Pringle?
What's stopping? All right, here's a
The
question.
number 2.
How many bad receivers that leave New England do well on other teams?
Well, it just depends because like
No,
they're
it
not
doesn't
necessarily-
happen. If
Danny
they
Amendola
can't produce,
Did all right.
Amendola was good on the Patriots. I'm saying like
No, West
bad.
was Miami.
Every receiver that is bad on the Patriots that they've ever drafted or brought as a free agent and they leave, they're not good. They're bad at the Patriots and they're bad everywhere else.
He will get he's gonna get an opportunity because there's nobody else.
Yeah,
there.
he'll get an opportunity. He's still gonna suck. You can't separate.
We'll see.
So-
How about fun fact though? Fun fact for all you out there. So the rookie receiver that they draft, I think it was their 3rd or 4th round pick, Velus Jones.
Oh, Bears.
Yeah, Bears. Velus Jones.
25.
N'Keal Harry's younger
Yeah.
than Velus Jones.
Velus Jones is older than half the wide receivers in the league.
Isn't that wild?
Yes.
He's still going to be
pretty
better
wild.
than N'Keal Harry.
We'll see. He's gonna get he'll be the number 2 guy there. But that is Mario. All of the news.
So was
today.
N'Keal Harry the start of Belichick not being able to draft anymore?
No, Belichick could never draft receivers. He drafted
His receivers are bad.
Chad Jackson from Florida in the 1st round like 7 years ago or whatever. And he
Longer
was
than that.
Yeah, 10 years. Jesus, yeah. But he was
when-
bad.
Thank goodness he did, because that's who I wanted the Steelers to take when they got
Right.
Santonio.
He was supposed to be good, but he sucked. That's what I'm saying. They don't
He also
go
brings
there.
in bad receivers if that's up to him. Too. Like they
Huh?
signed Aguilar. I can never say his last name. Sorry, Nelson Aguilar to an insane contract.
Oh, for sure they overpaid.
He's not good. It's not even an overpay. It's not a guy that I would target. I like that they brought in Devontae Parker, but I mean,
I agree. I'm not an
We'll get there.
Aguilar fan.
We'll
They
get
might
there.
trade him because they drafted Thornton, which is their speedster. So
hey, slow down.
Pump the brakes because on tonight's episode, we are getting into the AFC preview, AFC East preview, everybody. So let's start with the Bills, Mario Alex House. There's one and only the running back position on this team, right? This is the biggest question mark. We can get into Josh Allen, but I think we all know he's been the number one receiver number one quarterback in all of fantasy football for the last 2 years. Do you guys think that Josh Allen finishes outside the top 5? Is there any chance of that?
No, I think
Only if he gets hurt.
Yeah, that's it.
So his floor is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They added
Absolutely. That guy's a
weapons.
stud.
Yeah.
I agree. I can't see
That's
it.
kind of crazy. We all agree that his floor is a top 5 QB. That's pretty
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, it's the legs as well. I mean,
Yeah.
he
That's
just
the
does so
security net.
much. He can he throws with the best of them and he runs with the best of them. So it's so hard to see. Even if he has a bad throwing day, he's still going to put 20 points up with 2 rushing touchdowns. So he's a tough one to bet against. I'm all for him. But let's get into these running backs because I found these two interesting. We've talked about them kind of a lot. So Devin Singletary is going ADP running back number 29, overall 78. He's only 24 years old. And then James Cook, ADP running back 39, overall 104, 22 years of age. Second round pick out of Florida State. He's only 5'11", 199 pounds, Mario. I know how you hate your skinny backs.
Dude.
He's a pass catching guy though, right? For this team. So that helps out. What do you think of these guys?
Are you asking me? Who, like me?
Yeah, you.
he said, I know you hate skinny backs, Mario. And then it was just kind of like the question. I thought there's 3 of us on here. I don't know who he's really. Okay.
I thought it was directed at you. I think you did great,
Mario
Rob.
is you.
Thank you, House.
Yeah. So like I'm not drafting either of them. Singletary, I mean, is somebody that we drafted Singletary in that Scott Fishbowl. So I guess I am drafting Singletary if the value is right. Yeah, I'm not touching James Cook, man. There's a lot of hype on him. He's going 104 overall. And I don't understand because like there's been knocks against Ken Walker and his size not being the ideal prototypical size. And like people just erase that fact. And they're like, oh yeah, James Cook can be catching passes out of the backfield. When does Josh Allen check it down? Does that ever even happen? I mean, obviously it happens, but he scrambles. Like he doesn't check down to any of these backs. Like the only relevant back on here, they should get a bruiser. That's what they need. They should have drafted Ken Walker.
They
Ken
drafted
Walker
a
would do
bruiser
well.
last year, and
Zach Moss.
and he
Isn't that
sucks.
Moss? Yeah.
And he's bad.
It's a difference between drafting an actual bruiser and a bruiser, Alex. Well,
Oh, okay.
well, he's a bust. He ain't a bruiser then.
Yeah, but I mean Moss sucks. Singletary's gonna be a dog though.
I don't hate it. So what I'll say about Singletary, Mario, which I kind of dug into it a little bit. He finished RB number 3 over the final 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
That's a big sample size. So it's not like he cannot do it. It's just he needs that opportunity. And if you're so out on Cooks, why can't he do what he did the final 6 weeks of the season?
It was weird. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
have
okay.
an answer for you.
Huh?
We've seen Singletary. That was his 3rd year, and this was the first signs of life that we've seen in so
No.
long.
I don't think so.
And
They
so
just
long.
don't give him
ever.
touches. It's
I know.
I think they gave up on Zach Moss finally. They're
For
like,
sure.
okay, Zach Moss sucks. We know this now. Let's just go with Singletary,
You guys are
see what
talking about
happens.
So they gave up on Zach Moss and drafted another back. Gotcha.
yeah, but it's injuries happen, man. And like
Yeah.
offenses are changing all the time. You know, Cook they could have 2-back system where Cook is running 5-yard, 10-yard digs and outs. Like it's not like he has to be a check down back. He can be a back that comes out. Like they're trying to get as many weapons as possible, especially for Josh Allen to scramble. If he needs dump offs, then give him as many as possible.
So, and I want this to be all of you guys. So it's got to be quick. We're going to
Quick
do it
hit.
fast and just, everybody kind of say their person and we'll go from there. Are you going AJ Dillon or Singletary?
At the ADP.
Dillon. Yeah, at the ADP, Singletary.
These are all going to be kind of within the same area. Like you're only going to get one of these, AJ Dillon or Singletary.
Singletary.
Dillon's 59, Singletary 78. So you're probably likely only getting one of these. So did you guys all say Dillon?
I said Singletary for
That's
the
a lie.
ADP.
I'm
No.
going Dillon.
No,
I'm going
don't
Dillon
go.
for sure.
We're not going ADP. We're saying if you're
okay.
drafting. We're saying
Yeah,
if
if
you're
I'm drafting, I'm doing Dillon. But I thought
Okay.
if you're basing off ADP, I'd go Singletary.
Yeah.
Sanders or Singletary. They're right around the same.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
Sanders.
Man. Oof.
Sanders all
Sanders.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Sanders because of the potential, but I think Singletary ends up with more points this year.
You good.
Clyde Edwards or Singletary.
Singletary. That's easy for me.
Singletary.
That's easy for me.
I'm probably going Clyde Edwards.
Damian Harris or Singletary.
Harris.
Singletary.
Pass. Singletary. I don't like either.
Okay. Three more. Hunt or Singletary.
Hunt. Nope.
Hunt.
Ooh.
This is it.
Ooh, Singletary.
Rashad Penny or Singletary.
Penny.
Penny.
Edmonds or Singletary.
Singletary.
Edmonds.
Last one. I've skipped it. Tony Pollard or Singletary.
Pollard.
Pollard. You already know
Need
what
I
I'm
say.
saying.
Yeah.
Need
So,
I
like,
say.
And outside of Alex, the majority of times in this position, you're not drafting Devin Singletary. And I've been in a couple drafts already with Alex. I haven't seen him pick up Singletary, I don't think.
I have Singletary.
I think he's one of those players that we talk about a lot. He's just got that stink
Drafted
on him.
him.
That's why you like him. He does got a stank on him.
He's just got that stink on
Your
him.
brother was texting me how upset he was that I drafted him right before him. That he said
Again.
that was his
Capitalize on that, dude. Capitalize.
I'm
Go ahead
going
and
to
trade
capitalize on big man Paulie making it seem like he's a big deal. I trust his outlook.
Hey,
So-
you might be right.
Again, Mario, RB3 over the final 6 weeks of the season. So that's nothing to kind of sneeze at.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, second round running backs finish at least RB36 55% of the time since 2013. So that trends well for James Cook because he was a second round pick. But I digress. I know you hate these running backs because, it's what you do. So let's get into these wide receivers. Let's talk about a little Steffi Diggs first because he is super high on my board. ADP wide receiver 5. He's going 12th overall. Last year, fantasy points, 285.5. Finished wide receiver 7. He played all 17 games, and he was a stud. Mario, what do you think about him?
There's not much to say here. For me, I want to turn it over to Alex or House. Everybody got strong opinions on Diggs.
I'll say about Diggs, he's always the guy that I look at and I'm like, do I really want to take him at this spot? But he always puts up numbers. He's not like a slam dunk for me like Jefferson or any of those other top receivers are. I look at him, I'm like, all right, I guess if I have him at this spot, I'm okay with it. But I'm never really excited about it. And that might just be me. I don't know why. But the numbers always bear themselves out in the end. So
Yeah.
I think it's about right. Wide receiver 5, 12 overall.
Alex, let me ask you this. Let me give you a little rundown of some interesting stats for Steph Dix, right? So he was one of 2 wide receivers with over 2,000 air yards. One, do you know who the other one was?
No, Robbie, who was it?
Justin Jefferson. So all deep
He
ball
had his
threat.
hand. House had his hand
House,
raised.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Stevie Wonder.
And then he had the most end zone targets in the league with 25. JJ was second with 19. So, 6 more is a big difference in that kind of situation. Where do you see his floor? Because I think his floor is a lot higher than most.
For me, honestly, I think I have Diggs' ceiling as wide receiver 5, and I think his floor is probably wide receiver 15, maybe wide receiver 20. We'll see. I think he's good. I think they've added some players, and it's just, it's not common seeing guys who have. I mean, he's had a couple. His 2 best, years were the last couple years. Do I think he still does very well? Yeah, but maybe defenses figure him out. Maybe he's not as good. I still think he's very good, but I don't know if he is tied with JJ for air yards this year. I don't think that happens.
So I think what's more relevant right now, and we see it all over, are the Gabe Davis truthers. Does Gabe Davis, because this is a transition into another wide receiver on the team, does Gabe Davis cut into any of his work? Are we high on Gabe? Low? What's your thought? I'll start with you, Alex, then I'll go to you, House.
Yeah, Gabe Davis eats into it, in my opinion. He's pretty good.
Are you a Gabe Davis truther?
I mean, it's not necessarily a truther. He's the number 2 receiver, and he looked pretty good. He's not bad. It's not like he's looked bad on film. He looked good on film to where, if you see double coverage on on Diggs, it's going to go Knox or Davis more than likely.
House, what do you feel about Gabe Davis?
He's a solid number 2 for me. I think he'll do some things, but I don't think he's going to cut in to Diggs's production a ton. I think that Diggs is still clearly the number 1. I don't think there's going to be a huge impact. Again, to Alex's point, if he's double, triple covered, whatever, yeah, they're going to go that way. But he's going to be the guy.
Yeah,
Diggs for sure.
So I know Robbie has some thoughts on this, and I'll turn it back over to him. Robbie has written down an ADP wide receiver 31 in most drafts, and even some of the ADPs. Maybe this is more best ball. I see him go right around 24, 25.
Okay.
So are you paying that price for Gabe Davis? Because that's rich, dude.
Probably not.
He's
real rich.
He's that player that someone in your league is going to fall in love with.
For sure.
Right? So, you might think, okay, he's the 30th receiver. Somebody's going to pay more for him. It's just how much do you want him? And so, again, I keep throwing this back out there. What's his ceiling? What's his floor? Because to me, I think his ceiling is high and his floor is low. I can see a lot there.
Yeah.
Alex, or House, I see you shaking your head. What do you think his floor is? What do you think his ceiling is? Because I really do think he's a scary one for me because I could see it go both ways.
So what's his ADP is 31, you said?
Yeah, let's say it's a range from 26 to 31.
Okay. I mean, his ceiling for me is maybe he'd have to show out 15 to 20.
You'd have to show out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm leaning closer to 20, right, for that, but I think his floor is low, and I'm trying to think of a number.
Basement.
Kind of like what he did last year.
Basement.
He was wide receiver 58 last year.
In his
I mean, I could see a repeat of that, right? So there's
better numbers in his rookie year.
Yeah, but
better numbers his rookie year.
Alex is like, I saw that 4 TD game against defense, and I am pumped.
It's interesting. Okay, all right, let me throw you a little would you rather with him, right? So I like doing this with a player like this just to kind of get a gauge of people. So Brandon Cooks. ADP 25. Who are you taking?
Are we talking the player or the ADP?
The player. So Cooks at the ADP, right? So Cooks at 25.
You don't even have to say the ADP. If they're all going around the same thing, who are you taking at that point?
They're all very close. All right, so Cooks or Gabe Davis?
I'm going Cooks.
Cooks, but I'm worried about the quarterback situation. So it makes me think.
Fair.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton or Gabe Davis?
Sutty!
I hate that I'm going to agree with Mario here, but it's Cortland.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson or Gabe Davis?
A-Rob.
Same.
So we're fading him.
I think so. There's too many good
Dynasty,
receivers.
I'd probably take Davis over A-Rob just because A-Rob is not
it's a whole different conversation.
Right.
I think,
different.
Davis might be
23.
being groomed to take over that Diggs role. He was drafted
For
high.
sure.
Yeah. But
Diggs
so
turns what 29 pretty soon. So
Yep.
I want to switch something before we get into Dawson Knox, who was mentioned. Let's talk about some of these wide receivers. And somebody mentioned to me recently that they think in the slot, Isaiah McKenzie might steal out the role over Jamison Crowder. I like Jamison Crowder as a sleeper. I think he could be a red zone threat. We've seen him do well in the red zone on Washington. He did pretty well for a couple years.
he's like Julian
Jets,
Edelman,
he's
man. It's not super fast, but he's quick, runs great routes, and catches everything.
He's an underrated receiver
Yeah.
from
I
a
agree
from
with
a
both
from
of
a football standpoint, not a fantasy standpoint. But
Fantasy's not been too bad.
There's
from
there's
Southgate.
stretches, right? And
For sure.
what I wonder is like, is he going to cut into where making Gabe Davis irrelevant for another year?
Fair.
Because it's possible.
Yeah, whoever plays better is probably going to get the ball. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, he fits that Cole Beasley role.
hard hitting
Exact. I
analysis,
was
the
just
better
gonna say
player's
that.
going to get the ball.
Yeah, it's just is Crowder older now? Is Gabe Davis that much better? I mean, Crowder, how old's Crowder? 30?
29.
Yeah, he's been injured a lot. You
Yeah.
know, so I like Gabe Davis. Probably not where he's getting drafted, but I like him.
He's so high right now.
Yeah,
It's so,
I like him.
He's
A
probably
lot to
the
be
most
unknown.
overpriced wide receiver.
Yeah, probably.
Or Robbie, you had some Dawson Knox pick
Look.
here for us.
A little quick hitter on Dawson Knox. ADP tight end 10. He's going 98th overall. Finished last year tight end 11 in 2021. He's only 25 years old. So that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. I like him in dynasties, but are you guys touching him in redraft?
Start with you, House.
Probably not. I'm either real high on a tight end or I'm getting one of those guys towards the end. And I guess tight end 10 puts him in that kind of range, but probably not. I'm probably not touching him.
Alex?
Yeah, probably not taking him. I think they have enough. I think he's good. I think he's going to do well. But I think there's going to be some tight ends who didn't do as well last year who do better this year and kind of get over him.
We're going to see touchdown regression.
Probably.
For sure. But I think this is where there's a tight end dead zone.
Yeah.
Like after Schultz, I pretty much fade until I try to get my boy Kermit the Frog. And then maybe some other sleepers at that point. But like I fade on him as well.
I agree. My concern
like
with
the Kermit?
him. Yeah, I love the Kermit.
It was
Alex?
bad.
My concern with him, just
Wasn't my
the
best.
previous two seasons with Josh Allen,
Allen.
they've been in the bottom third of the league in pass attempts to tight ends. So that's not what you want to see when you're trying to draft a high tight end. So it's just something to kind of keep an eye on. And
Yeah.
I think I'm out well.
And the conversation we just had leads to the touchdown regression that was just brought up, right? With Davis, Crowder, or Mckenzie, who's ever in the slot. Obviously, Diggs is going to get his chances, but I think it's going to come from Knox
Cooks.
in the red zone.
Cooks.
Yeah.
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 A running Josh Allen. Yeah. Too many people
do
there
have-
that want the ball.
They have brought in a lot of pieces and some finally younger.
Yeah.
They always usually bring in they've had Emmanuel Sanders, they've had Cole Beasley,
Jameson Crowder.
they've had
Value. They get
29.
They
value.
do. They know what they
Yeah.
they flip them.
Yeah.
They keep flipping them. I like what they do.
Great run organization.
Yeah, very good. Okay, let's get into the Miami Dolphins. Mario, a little love for
Fins
your
up.
boy.
I'll say
Little
my
Tua
boy.
tag, right? ADP
I think-
quarterback 16. He's going 128th overall. Last year finished quarterback 26. Not what everyone wanted to see in his second year. Everyone was kind of high for him. Finished with 190 points. He's only 24 years old. He played 13 games last year. Mario, I know you like him. Where do you think he can finish?
If you want to ask me like who's a quarterback that's really tough to project, this is it. Because there's nothing that we've seen so far that would say he's going to be great for fantasy. I actually, when watching him last year, didn't he win 8 of his 9 games played on the second half, or 7 of 8? It was insane because they benched him or he was hurt, whatever it was. Comes in, so he has a second receiver. I don't know, man. Like, that's what I'm just having a tough time projecting him. I'm having a tough time. I don't typically get him. I'll probably try to get Kirk Cousins, who's going to be on an offense that I'm going to have a lot more fun with. There's a ton of running backs back here, and the unknown. Like, I don't typically 2 QB leagues. I'm like excited to have him as my second. That happens a lot. But outside of that, like for a QB1, I am not feeling good. I'd rather just keep on fading at that point. Go for Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jared Goff will do better. I just feel like there's a little bit more stability there. Alex, I see you making faces. I think you have a little Tua love, but not more than Jared Goff.
So this is like the way I look at. I know we've talked about OSU quarterbacks and Alabama quarterbacks, to where with Mac Jones, it's kind of similar to where it's the surrounding pieces are going to take them where, to their ceiling. They're not, I don't think they're guys that are going to make superstars out of mediocre players. They're not Aaron Rodgers, but Miami did great things adding pieces. In theory, he should be really good. But who knows? It's 50-50. Like, he's the most 50-50 quarterback this year. Like, could be great, could literally not be good.
He could be good in the NFL. I think if I had a guess, I would say that McDaniel is a great coach. He seems like a great coach, I should say. He seems that he's already changed the culture in this organization. But if we're looking at what Shanahan has done in San Fran, to imagine McDaniel doing something insanely different, Jimmy Garoppolo was never super fantasy relevant. So, like, he could do great on the field. He could win them games. I don't know if he'll do anything for fantasy. House, did you have any different thoughts on that?
No, I tend to agree. I don't love him as a player. I think Alex made a good point where Rodgers makes his receivers better. I think the receivers are going to be what makes Tua. And he's not going to be a guy that's throwing people open, right? He's not taking an Allen Lazard, right, and making him relevant. Superstar. And I brought him up specifically because I know you guys love him. He's going to go as far as Waddle and Hill can take him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. He's a tough one. He is probably one of the tougher quarterbacks to gauge just because of the Tyreek situation. Speaking of Tyreek, let's get into these receivers, right? So we got Tyreek, we got Waddle. Tyreek Hill coming over from Kansas City, ADP wide receiver 8, overall 19. He's 28 years old.
That picture of Tyreek is great.
Covering up the words.
Whoopsie.
I'm not even worried about that. I just like.
It doesn't matter where I finished.
What's up?
Anyway,
he's hiding it.
So he finished wide receiver 6 last season, averaging 14.2 points per game. He posted career lows, however, in YAC, 4.3, yards per route run, 2.14, and ADOT, which we've talked about a little bit, Mario. It was his lowest since his rookie season at 10.6. Jalen Waddle, ADP wide receiver 13. He's going 39th overall. He's only 23 years old. He did break Anquan Bolden's rookie reception record and had a 22% target share in this Dolphins offense last season, which is what you would love to see going into a second season if he didn't have a superstar coming out of his team. So, Alex, what do you think of these receivers? I'm curious.
So when it comes to Tyreek, I think he's a dog. He's amazing. I think the lows that he had with the Chiefs is one of the reasons why I picked up Clyde Edwards-Helaire this year. I don't think their line did well when it needed to be, and I don't think they schemed very well. So I think there was parts of that offense that could have improved, and that includes Tyreek. With him going to the Dolphins, as much as I like Tyreek, I don't think his numbers improve. Pat Mahomes is not throwing him the ball anymore. I think Waddle's stats stay pretty similar. I think, Tyreek, I think what you see for Tyreek is probably a ceiling.
Yeah, I don't hate that. House, what are you thinking of these two?
I'm a big fan of Waddle and what he did and what he brought to that offense last year. I think he's a playmaker. I was a little bit shocked when they brought Hill in because I feel like they have Tyreek Hill light in Jalen Waddle. I think they do a lot of the same things. So the concern for me there is that some of that 22% target share is going to move over to Tyreek. So I think you might see a little regression from Waddle. But if I was picking one of these two, I'm targeting Waddle over Hill all day, every day.
So are you talking ADPs, or are you talking if you're in a position they're both on the board?
I'm waiting on Waddle rather than getting Hill at that ADP.
Okay. I don't hate the take. Mario?
Yeah, I'd go Waddle too. I just, you guys make fun of me all the time. I think that Tyreek is on the downslope, and it starts this year. And there's nothing that necessarily shows that.
The yak scared me when I saw it.
The yak's really scary, and like his lowest yards per reception is a little bit nerve wracking. We come on an offense that's going to be spread out between these two. Gesicki, we have 3 different running backs, and we have a guy that we're not certain can make this all work for everyone. So Waddle's the cheaper one. I'm going Waddle.
Him having his lowest ADOT, his lowest yards after catch, and combine that with Tua, who was in the bottom third of ADOT, which it's just kind of a scary recipe. And Waddle, what Conan brought up when we had him on the last week, when he brought up the yards after catch for Waddle, which was in the top 10, maybe, I believe, right, Mario? I think he was top 10, maybe 12 in yards after catch at one of the lowest ADOTs. So if you have a low average depth of target, you want those yards after catch. And if Tyreek is kind of losing that, it is very concerning to take him in the top
Alex is
20 picks. So
Alex like he's not losing it.
I don't think he's losing it. I just think he's going to a team that isn't going to give him the target that he did at Kansas.
Yeah, we'll see. He made it on like 100 targets, so he did most of his work on like 115 to 120 targets. Last year was an anomaly. Last year was an anomaly. Can he do it again? I don't know. I hope so because I really like the player. But I think I'm fading Tyreek. Over the past 3 weeks, I've gotten to the point where I think I'm fading Tyreek and I'm going into Waddle. So we'll take that.
Waddle.
We'll go with that. But now let's get into Chase Edmonds. So we've talked about him a lot. McDaniels kind of rose through the ranks, the coaching ranks, as a run game coordinator. So this is what he does best. He knows how to utilize his running backs. He knows how to get the best out of them. So Chase Edmonds is going RB 33, 93rd overall. He's still only 26 years old somehow. I mean, I feel like he's 50. I feel like he's 50, dude. I feel like he's been around forever.
50.
Maybe I'm wrong.
26 isn't young for a running back who's been in the league.
I thought he was at least 28. But he was RB 21 through the first 6 weeks of the season, and then he had that ankle injury that kind of derailed the season. So he did put up some good numbers last season, especially in PPR formats. Mario, I know you love him. What do you think of him? What do you think?
Well,
okay, so let me ask you this.
So this is
I know we both love him. Where can you see him finishing? Like, what's a good season for Chase Edmonds?
I mean, it just depends. So like he's a back that has been very big in the pass catching work, and now he's going to go to a team where there's 3 targets that Tua already loves. So that makes it difficult, especially when you're putting up back there other RBs that could potentially take away from some of his rushing work. But honestly, when we're looking at RB 33 as the ADP, man, I'm buying there because especially if I don't go RB, or if I don't have my second RB by then, I'm okay with taking an RB there because I'm hoping I'll be stronger at other positions.
Yeah.
And Chase is a guy that I like in this section, and I don't have the names, and I can pull them up as we kind of continue to talk about Chase. there's not any other RBs that are necessarily exciting me. Yeah. Like our buddies from Fantasy Whisperers just said, the cheapest starting running back. And it's true.
100%.
Like he's cheap. He's going there. There's only about like 2 other guys, and we don't know which one's the starting running back. Rashad Penny and Ken Walker, I think, go in similar ADPs.
Yeah.
But we don't know which one it is. We know he's going to be the guy. We don't know what that looks like yet. And that makes me a little worried, but I'm buying there. If I fade the RB approach or even it depends. If it's PPR, I'm probably looking for a third wide receiver before I would be looking for a third running back. But still, if I don't have my second running back, I'm buying there.
House, what are you thinking on him?
I don't love him as an option in that scenario where I'm looking for that second starter. If I've gone like running back, loaded up on some receivers, and I can snag him at that ADP and have him as my RB2, I might take a look, but man, I'm going to be nervous week in and week out.
Yeah, it is. I see with him, I love I think his floor isn't too low just because of the catch. It's got to be PPR, right? This is all we're talking PPR formats. Just the amount of work he's going to get in the receiving game in this offense. I think it just works so well with Tua because I really do. I think Tua is going to find him a lot. Alex, I see you kind of upset over here. What's up, buddy?
I mean, I think where his ADP is, it makes sense, but I mean that team is
right?
that team is a team of undersized running backs who are quick and can catch passes.
Yeah, but who are we worried about in that backfield?
Yeah.
Sony Michel is the one that might.
Sony Michel is going to take goal line carries. I mean,
that's very well possible. But like, if you're worried about Raheem Mostert, you're crazy.
I love it.
It's the truth. I don't think you know what I mean, let's put it this way. There was hype with Edmonds going into last season, and he did well, but it wasn't like we're going to make you the bell cow. He was supposed to be. That's why Connor was so low last year going into the season. Nobody thought Connor was going to put the amount of touchdowns and get the touches in the red zone as he did because Chase Edmonds was supposed to be the guy. Well, he wasn't. He was good, but he was never the guy.
He wasn't bad though. When he played,
not bad.
Chase Edmonds was good. Like
he's
I said,
good, but he still it's one of those things where with a lot of the league, they're going to try to split carries as much as possible. And I think he ends up not splitting. I think he gets majority share barely, but I think you're going to have a guy doing third downs. And I think you're going to have Sony taking goal line to where, at RB33, like that might be okay, but I wouldn't take him as a second running back.
I think at RB33, though, not bad is good enough.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it comes down to. But is he my second RB? It's super risky.
That's fair.
You load up on everywhere else. I don't want to keep us going on Chase Edmonds.
I think he's a split. He's a very diverse. People love him. People hate him. I think it's how often do you get burned by him. So I like him a lot. I think he's going to do fine this year, especially PPR formats. I'm not really concerned at all. It is goal line. He won't see it. It's Sony Michel's work is going to be the goal line.
Yep.
So you're not going to see those touchdowns, but still, I think they're going to be spread out a ton. So he could see a lot of receiving touchdowns. So I'm still fine with it. Mario, you want to get into Mike Gesicki?
No, I guess. I just thought. Never mind.
ADP.
No, so like,
go ahead.
If you just want a short answer from me, because we're running out of time here, I told you 6 through 12. I'm not going for. I'm fading Gesicki. There's too many weapons on the offense. I'm fading.
Yeah.
Is anyone taking Gesicki in this room? House?
No.
Alex?
Mm-mm.
Mario?
No, sir.
Rob? No. So he is young. I still like him in, Dynasty and all that sort of stuff, but I'm kind of
playing on a franchise tag.
Yeah, I'd rather have Komet.
He is playing for a contract.
I'd rather have
Like the
Komet.
player.
Colts too.
Like the player, don't like the fantasy value.
Yeah.
Correct.
Let's get into.
I'm a big fan of Gesicki about that. Yeah.
I think he's talented, but yeah.
Talented.
Let's get into Alex's favorite team.
Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champs.
Your boy Mac Jones. So he's going ADP 19, quarter or overall 171, fantasy points 239 last year, quarterback 19.
Why is he saying
So he's
super
going where he went. He's only 25 years old, which is old for a second year quarterback. He finished with his highest passer rating and second highest completion percentage for a rookie in NFL history, which is definitely positive for you, Alex. So go ahead. Take the reins here, Alex. Tell me why Mac Jones is the next coming of Tom Brady.
He's not, but he's going to be good. And it's the argument I made about Tua. I think he's shown a little more in Tua's, he started the whole season. Tua's had 2 years of kind of like, do they play him? Do they not play him? But they're adding weapons. They added Parker. They drafted Thornton. They have enough weapons. I think Jonnu's going to be fully healthy and a little bit more involved. Hunter Henry. He's going to get red zone targets. He's going to eat it up back there. I'm hopeful, me trying not to be as super biased, I am hopeful he takes a big jump this year.
What's a big jump?
I mean, he was QB 19 last year.
Mm-hmm.
For me, a realistic QB jump would be anywhere between 9 and 12.
He's not going to get that option.
No,
He-
not a chance.
But here's
It's
the
not
thing:
a chance.
nobody knows. But here's the thing: we don't know what the Patriots are doing on offense this year.
But
Josh McDaniels is not there. They're going to change it around. How they've lost to Buffalo, they are playing to beat Buffalo. If they cannot throw the ball, then they're not going to beat Buffalo.
Outside of, and I know this is getting too deep, but outside of Tom Brady in 2007, I feel like we have seen his best years in Tampa Bay. And because he's just been unleashed, at least for fantasy. And the way that they used Mac Jones, what was it, the windy game or the snowy game? He threw once, twice.
Yeah.
They just don't, he just doesn't, he's like, this is one of Belichick's puppets. It is.
They're going to look, you're talking about Tom Brady's 07. He had 2 more years. He had a year where he had 38 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Like Brady's had really good years at the Patriots.
As far as
Tampa
stats
Bay,
go, that's not what I was saying.
Well,
I was saying
yeah.
fantasy.
Yeah, well, with Tampa, they get an extra game. Yes, Bruce Arians is, for a second there, they didn't even know if it was going to be Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette. Patriots, Josh McDaniels loved to run the ball. He was smart. He wanted to limit turnovers as much as possible. I don't see him doing worse. I don't see it happening.
I'm not saying worse.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, obviously, I told you what I think is ceiling at absolute best is 9 through 12. Him being QB 19, I think
shocked.
Realistically, what I think will happen is he's closer to QB 15 this year. He
Even
completes passes.
In a passing league. I can't.
I could see 15.
Yeah.
I was thinking in that whole conversation that 15, 16, I think is his ceiling.
I think that's ceiling.
Because I don't think they have the weapons for him to get any more stats than that.
Yep.
Regardless of the offense, what they're going to do, I think it's just a limitation on weapons. And
how did Bourne finish last year? He was top 15 receiver. The last 8 games.
Bourne had some moments. Don't get me going on Bourne. Now
good.
you're gonna get me back.
If Parker had anywhere near how he was in his breakout year in Dolphins, like I said,
come on.
I don't think they're the Bills.
Just brings alive wide receivers.
All right, we're into receivers, right? We're into receivers. Let's get into this. Okay, the top 2 receivers going off the board so far in drafts are Jacoby Myers, wide receiver 53, 137th overall. He's only 25 years old. So he led the Pats the last 2 seasons in targets, and he finished top 12 in target share at 23% in the NFL. Devontae Parker coming in. He's the second one going off the board, ahead of Bourne. ADP wide receiver 58, 145th overall, 29 years old. Mac Jones got that big body receiver on the outside, but man, does he get hurt a lot.
Yep.
So with these weapons, you can throw Bourne in there, but no, he's going after wide receiver 58. So
I don't
in
think
the
he's
60s,
getting drafted and redrafted.
Yeah, he might not be getting drafted.
I don't think he is.
Are you like Are you excited about any of these receivers? Would you throw a dart at any of them? Is it worth it?
I don't want
No.
anything to do with any of the receivers if in fantasy.
Fair.
I like them all. Parker, I don't know if I like yet because I haven't seen anything. They're gonna share the ball around. There is not going to be any favorites on this team besides Henry in the red zone. The rest of the team, whoever's open is getting the ball.
So fade Pats wide receivers. If you know anything,
Yes.
Alex is the Pats guy. So he says
Fade
fade,
him.
you fade. Let's
Fade
get
him.
into your other boy, Dame Harris.
Well, I like Kendrick Bourne, but I wouldn't.
I
draft
like him. I just think adding weapons to Mac
He's okay.
Jones.
Depends how deep our rosters are. I got him in Dynasty now. I think
Yeah.
he's sneaky in Dynasty.
I don't.
How old's Bourne? Like 27?
He's 26. Maybe turning 27 this year.
Stay away
But,
from the wide receivers. Dame Harris, ADP, running back 28.
This is
He's
another
going-
tough projection.
He's going 68th overall. Fantasy points 214 last year. Finished RB 14. He did have 15 touchdowns. He's only 25 years old, but he is on the final year of his rookie contract.
And he's a
If there's
Patriot.
one thing,
And there's trade rumors.
if there's one thing I know about Patriots and running backs on the last year of their contract, they run them into the ground
Or trade him.
or trade them. So, Alex, again, you're the resident Pats guy. Dame Harris, are you taking him at the ADP? Running back 28.
What Robbie
No.
was saying is you're the bandwagon fan here. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Well, go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. No, I
A
don't.
lot of Pats
I don't
fans
take
born in
the-
Ohio.
Just because you guys grew up drinking Cuyahoga River water, and
Whoa.
I don't even know what Pittsburgh has. I guess
We got 3 of
Steel
them, buddy.
Mills.
Pick one.
Yeah. You guys inhaling your steel mill fumes.
Yeah.
Damien here.
Builds grit.
I mean, he had 15 touchdowns last year. Ramondre Stevens looked really good. They're going to do what last year was kind of a phenomenon for Damien Harris. It was like LeGarrette Blount the one year where he had 18 touchdowns. Like I don't think it happens. It's a one-off. I think Ramondre.
Now, how far?
I think it's a split. I think Ramondre and Damien Harris split.
Speaking of that, that's a great kind of segment of what I had going on here. So the issue that I have going on with Dame Harris is the last 7 games, right, of last year.
He was kind of hurt, but
Harrison Stevenson, yeah, fair, but Harrison Stevenson had a 50-50 split.
I think it's the same. They're
Actually,
both good.
Stevenson was probably like 52% to Harris 48%. It's not what you want to see going into the next year.
And they
I didn't
drafted
know-
a running back.
I
Yeah,
learned
like
a long
Dame
time
Harris-
ago you don't draft Patriots running backs, and that's that.
Harris paid off. Ramondre paid off for 4 or 5 games. And Harris, 15 touchdowns.
Can you count on them, though? That's the thing. Like,
I've
think-
been taking a lot of dart throws on Ramondre because I think he's just got a lot of upside if Damian Harris goes. But I know I'm not a huge fan of loving or drafting.
I'm fading both
Patriots.
this year.
I like
I love-
Ramondre, man. I think he could take over this backfield if it
Why?
depends.
But that's what I'm saying.
If
They're
Harris,
not-
if
why
Harris
would they
gets
give
traded,
it to
I would
him?
feel much better.
Yeah.
But Harris gets a lot of injuries, man.
But when he plays, he's good. He's good in between
He's pretty good.
tackles. He was great
Yeah.
at Alabama. They drafted him after spending a first rounder on Michelle, and they drafted Harris. Like, it's making it seem like, oh man, he's going to take carries, and he ended up taking his job.
So I'm going to keep us moving since we're running low here. You're fading. Both of you guys are fading Damian Harris and Ramondre, is what you're saying.
Yes, I would.
I'm in on Ramondre, but
absolutely.
how do we feel about Hunter
I'd take
Henry
Harris
or,
at the ADP?
or Jonnu Smith?
Hunter Henry's Hunter,
Nope.
Hunter Henry, man.
I think
Doesn't
this
matter
has
what
been-
team he's on.
both their ADPs are so low. It's like, are you even putting a flyer on this, or are you just waiting to see if he does anything week 1 and then picking him up?
Henry's tight end 14 coming off the board.
I thought it was lower.
Smith, I think it's 14. I saw Jonnu Smith's like 30 something.
Yeah, Jonnu's not getting drafted.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, between the two, it's Henry 100% of the time, but I'm not
Yeah.
excited about either.
You're right. It was 14, tight end 14.
If you're
because they
getting
have
tight
Mac
end
Jones
later in
throwing
the
him the ball.
draft, I think Henry can be a steal. He's the only one I would honestly want. Mac Jones and Henry, the only two Patriots, if I'm drafting, I'm putting on my team.
Did Henry have a 2-for-2 line last year? Am I wrong about that? 2 receptions, 2 yards, 2 TDs.
Really?
I thought you were
Sounds
talking about
about
your
a pat.
little Caesar
That's
deals.
a pat move.
Not a little
The
Caesar deal.
2-2-2.
It's like Jerome Bettis, 3 carries, 3 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Alex, is there anybody else we need to know about on this team?
No, but what I would say is top 5 offensive line going into the league. Keep that in the back of your head if you are going to draft a Patriots running back.
Okay.
Both of them are probably going to average close to 5 yards per carry.
But do you see it being a 50-50 workload? Do you guys
Yeah,
go
for
over
sure.
this? Okay.
I'm not taking.
And if
but
they're averaging 5,
if you're taking a
you'll be
late
running.
flyer on them, I think if you get them where it makes sense, and either one of them is an injury away of being possibly
guy.
top 10 running back every week.
Okay.
yeah, because like everything you're saying right now is Ramondre buy all day. At I think it's close to 120 or 118. It is. You just said he would average 5 yards a carry. He's splitting 50-50. That's what you're telling everyone. And
I'm
then
saying
you're saying, I'm not
running back.
I'm passing.
Either running back. But yeah, Ramondre obviously is the biggest benefit. You know, he benefits the most if Harris gets injured.
Yeah.
So
I agree. But Mario, let's get into the Jets. Jets.
Hey, look who it is, baby.
Mother's milk. ADP quarterback 24, 189th overall. Fantasy points
Good boy
162
spread.
last year. Quarterback 30. Ooh. He only played 13 games and he's only 22 years old. So that's crazy. He's 22. Mac Jones is 25. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's how ages work.
You're right. So who's older?
Sam Darnold.
Mario, would you touch him
Is Mac
in
older
any
than
format?
Sam Darnold?
I thought you were going to end. Would you touch him?
Look,
Where is
Zach's
this
not a
also-
mother.
going? Where is
He's
this
not a
going?
mother.
the Disney superstar, man. There has been times in best ball and 2 QBs where I'm like, there's a lot of weapons here.
Man,
I really love their coach.
could he be worse than last year?
No.
There's no way. He was bad last year. I used to have this stat that talked about Mike White putting up in 8 quarters what he put in for the beginning of the year. It was disgusting. I wish I had it ready. It was bad.
9 touchdowns and 11 picks. A QBR rating of 28.
It's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
so like if he doesn't take the next step here, he's
Oh,
gone,
yeah.
dude.
How do you not?
But they're too
It's-
loaded to be waiting.
Yeah, how do you not? If you're the Jets, like the
It's-
team is stacked and
They're-
young.
You can't.
They're
You can't give them
young.
another-
Stacked
they are
is
young.
A word is a
You're right.
word. Is so
Young stacked.
hypothetical.
They're
I
full
I
of
get what you're
young.
saying,
potential.
Alex.
Sure,
They're full
Yeah.
of potential
But,
is
like,
the way that you use the word that.
Potential stacked
Sure.
You're right.
Okay, I get it. You're
for
I get it.
Michael Bay's Karate Kid. I don't know.
But what I am saying is if he puts up another year like this and say he plays a full season, so 3,000 yards, 15 TDs, 17 interceptions, he's not getting another shot at this offense.
no.
Yeah, he probably does.
No
I don't
freaking
know.
way he does, Alex.
I mean, Daniel Jones is getting a shot still. Sam Darnold is getting a shot.
But-
Sam Darnold is not getting a shot.
It's an open competition.
And Darnold has shown flashes, and so has Danny Dimes. When we watched this guy last year, there was 3 passes that were flashes compared to games.
Look, man, I agree. I think he sucks. I think he's gonna suck. I think he's a dumpster fire. He had one good year at BYU against a bunch of bums. And yeah, he threw a lot of far
So what do you
balls
say? He's
with
not going to
nobody
get
guarding.
another shot at this.
I think
Yeah,
the
I
Jets
know.
are stupid. I think they're
If they-
historically dumb.
But if the
He
Jets
should
get
have been
another,
taken
so
as the third.
if the Jets have a top 5 pick next year, you really don't think they're going to go for a quarterback?
Probably not.
they
They're
would.
stupid.
No, they would.
Do they?
I think
Yeah.
they would.
Him
they have
having
a
a
top
bad
5?
year and getting another shot is completely dependent on why the Jets are having a bad year, right?
Yeah.
If he's running for his life because the O-line's bad, he'll get another shot. If
They built it up a little bit though.
yeah, I'm just using that as the example, right? If the defense is garbage and they're losing games and he has to throw the ball, 45 times a game, which turns into turnovers, he'll get another shot because there's going to be built-in excuses.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
I still
Makes
don't want
sense.
him, and I think he has the most punchable face in the league.
Yeah, look at that. I mean,
Dude,
My dad's a lawyer. That's what he looks like.
you guys, just because he has a career
He
after
does.
this,
all right.
whether it's in football or not,
He's fine either way. He's having a good off season, but let's keep it rolling. Mario, you're
So
sweet. You're sweet, darling. Brees Hall, ADP running back 23. He's going 47th overall. He's only
this is
21.
crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy.
He's only 21 years old. Second round draft pick out of Iowa State. Take the floor.
He's
This
not
was
staying
your boy.
at this ADP. He's not
This was
staying
your
at
boy.
this ADP. He's not
No.
staying at this
No.
ADP.
So we think he's
Running
going to go
back
in the
23.
third. Mid third. Let's call it mid third.
Yeah,
So RB 15.
I think that's where it cuts off for me. If he goes higher than mid third, that's where I stop drafting him. But I'm buying anything after mid third here, and we're coming out fresh legs, dominated at Iowa State, and I talked the numbers in one of our more recent episodes, so I don't want to get back into them. Plus, I don't have them in front of me. There should be opportunity here. Michael Carter doesn't scare me. I mean, yeah, he's going to get work, but not enough that it would hurt Brees Hall's potential here. They traded up to get him. They used a second round on him. He was one of 4 backs in the second or 3 backs in the second. I think it was 3 backs in the second.
I think it was 3.
It was him, Ken Walker, and maybe James Cook, but James Cook might have been third.
Cook went in
Can't
the
remember
second.
now. If Cook did, Ken Walker did too.
Cook went
So,
in the
I
second.
mean, he was clearly the best RB out of this class. And
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's even competing with the 2023 class, not saying the best. I think he's I saw somebody post that he's probably right around 3rd or 4th in that class. And that class is that RB heavy. So I like it. It's a good landing spot. Michael Carter doesn't necessarily scare me because whatever sort of targets you're going to be receiving from Wilson isn't going to be that amazing anyway. So
What are you doing with Carter? Is everyone fading him? Alex? He's ADP. Let me see. I have a running back 34, 97th overall.
I'd probably,
crazy.
I mean,
That's high.
I'd probably get I'd probably get Carter late. I mean,
That's early though.
I don't see the Jets doing. I mean, I think Hall's obviously the starter, but what's the split looking like? I mean, is Carter that bad? No. I mean, is he Brees Hall good? No. But a lot of teams are splitting, and I don't think they just want to throw a ginormous load on Hall.
The question for me with this backfield is, what does Brees do in the beginning couple games? Is he going to get the workload, or is it going to be an ease into the offense for a rookie? And then the back half of the year, he goes crazy.
He gets to work good.
I think I think he gets a lot of carries the first few games, and then they start giving him more of a rest. I think it honestly depends on how bad the Jets are. If the Jets end up being really terrible, Carter's going to get, it's going to be more of a split.
To save his legs.
Yeah,
It's
they're
just
going to save his legs.
It's not like Carter got a ton of work last year and he was the only one back there.
He was injured.
He was.
Yeah, I played 14 games though.
Yeah,
How
I
many
just
of
pulled
those
it
are-
up. He played 14. He had 147 carries
It's not even like that much, man. He had 10
No.
carries a game.
and 36 receptions.
He did work in the receptions that it was with Mike White.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets
Everyone's
were
best
terrible.
game was with Mike White or Joe Flacco, which really makes you worried about what's going on with Wilson. But Elijah Moore had a monster game with, I think it was Flacco.
Yes, he did. Speaking of
Cortland
Elijah
Sutton
Moore.
had a good year with Joe Flacco. Okay. sorry.
Elijah Moore, ADP, wide receiver 33, 81st overall, still 22 years old. Over the final 6 games that he played, because he did get hurt and he had COVID kind of stuff going on, and he couldn't get back on the field, he was wide receiver 2 in that stretch over his last 6 games played.
Don't care.
Garrett Wilson, ADP, wide receiver 49. He's going 118th overall, 21 years old. Selected 10th overall. and the second wide receiver behind Drake London, coming out of the Ohio State University. He finished last season with the FBS 12th best passer rating when targeted at 141.7. House, where are you at with these two?
You know, I like Elijah Moore as a player. I love Garrett Wilson. I think that guy's a freak. I think he's a stud, and it pains me to say that about a guy out of Ohio State.
Yeah, baby. Wide receiver you.
What'd you say?
Wide receiver you.
Yeah, whatever. But I think, that Wilson is gonna make plays for his quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I think he's gonna hide some bad throws. I don't trust Elijah Moore as much. So between the two, I would target Wilson here. Like Moore as a player, but again, where did all his production come from last year when Zach Wilson wasn't there, right? So between the two, Garrett Wilson all day. That guy's a stud. I think he's going to be a monster. Cool. I think Moore in a different situation would be a really good receiver.
Dude, I feel like this is one of the hardest receiving cores to kind of figure out. Dynasty, it's a lot easier, but Corey Davis, when he was healthy with Zach Wilson, was targeted heavily.
Wide
I hate
receiver,
saying
72.
Yeah,
ADP.
but when he was healthy and Wilson was healthy early in the season, I mean, the first 3 weeks, he was heavily targeted. I'm not saying that Corey Davis is a receiver you want to draft. I'm saying you have two what I think are really good receivers and a solid three, and you have Zach Wilson at QB. I don't think any of them finish. Like, if you can get them later, Dynasty, if you can get either of them for Dynasty, I don't like the Jets. Both are great receivers. I take Elijah Moore over Garrett Wilson. I think there's going to be more chemistry. I think Elijah Moore is good. I don't really want either of them in wide receiver 1 or 2.
Mario, I know you hate Elijah Moore.
I don't hate him as a player, and it's similar to what House just said. This is all about my hate for Zach Wilson.
Okay. So you're off of Garrett Wilson then?
Yeah, I am. And it's one of those prove it to me's that I do think, say Wilson was to surprise the world this year, and because they just stacked him up everywhere, and he just came out and he played halfway decent football, then these guys are all going to outperform their ADP. That's the reality of it, and then we all missed out. So really, anytime you're taking a gamble on either of these ADPs, you're taking a gamble on Wilson. Zach Wilson, and I'm out. And it really sucks because they are talented wide receivers.
And Corey Davis going at wide receiver 72. Anything?
No.
Okay.
I guess I'll try to pick him up, though, if I see Wilson turning up. Get in there somehow.
I will say, as great as Garrett Wilson looked in college, obviously Ohio State has the most dominant receiving core in the Big Ten. It's not fair, which also makes it to where is Olave or Wilson going to be the good one? You don't know because they're, it's like Alabama. Yeah, but with Elijah Moore, he had Ole Miss's record in a season in 8 games, and that Metcalf was there, AJ Brown was there. He's the most dominant Ole Miss receiver in school's history, and he did in 8 games.
Yeah, and
he's good.
He's really good, and he may be paired up with possibly the worst QB in the league this year.
For sure.
Last year, Wilson was probably the worst QB in the league.
That's what I think saying. Fields might have been. Fields had more talent around him and was terrible. Fields did have more talent.
A-Rob wasn't even playing.
Mooney, A-Rob, Montgomery, Kmet. Who did the Jets have last year?
This is Nagy that we're talking about, not a Fields issue. This is your hate for OSU quarterbacks. You're going to keep us going for another 15.
Mitch Trubisky looked like Brady.
No, he didn't.
Compared to Justin Fields did.
Come on.
Nagy's offense.
That's gross.
Yeah.
He didn't game plan for Justin Fields at all. How many RPOs did he have in that playbook? 2?
Ohio State QB history.
It was the worst playbook I've ever seen. I'm not disagreeing with that, but for you to write off Fields with Matt Nagy is crazy to me.
I agree. Regardless,
Well, you guys are.
that's
Ohio
another
State
combo.
fanboys.
We'll get to the Bears. That's coming. Don't worry, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll make that
I
a
think you're gonna
Thursday
come back at
podcast.
me. No, I
We'll
want to
make
talk
it a
with Alex
Thursday.
some more.
Anyways, these tight ends, right? So CJ Uzma, tight end 25, Tyler Conklin, tight end 34. They
Can we just
draft
say we're
Jeremy
fading on?
Ruckert. Is
Everyone's
anyone
fading on.
touching a tight end out of this group?
No.
No. House.
We don't even. We
Not a
can't even touch the
chance.
receivers because the quarterback's so bad.
Yeah. 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 Zach
Mario,
Wilson.
stop
This was
yelling.
me. Is it coming off loud? I hope it's not.
No,
coming
it's
at
not.
me. He's
You're
coming
just being
at me.
aggressive. You're being aggressive, and you need to stop
But
it.
it's true,
You're
dude.
a
We
bully.
would
I
be
almost
excited
went
about
under
this
my
offense
desk.
if we had a better quarterback.
To everyone who's listening, the
It's
Jets are going to
coffee.
suck again. There will be no surprise.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah. Worst team
I-
in the division.
This is what I
again.
wanted. The poor man Cincinnati Bengals. That's what I wanted from them.
What?
Yeah,
Joe Burrow's not the quarterback.
that's the problem.
Joe Mixon's not. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The Bengals were
The
like,
weapons are
hey,
there. The weapons are there.
Oh,
Like
no.
I called him the poor man. I called him the poor man.
That's why I can't see them if they're in the top 5 again next year. I can't see them not taking a
Yeah,
quarterback.
Alex is
man.
crazy that he doesn't think that they would take. the
They are
QB.
loaded
I
up
think the
on
Jets
this
are
offense.
dumb. I think they're
They
stupid.
had a great draft.
They did.
You know
In
what?
the-
My,
in
I
one
have
of
a
the
friend.
weakest draft classes in years.
I have a friend who I used to work with at Verizon who might be listening to this. The probability's low, but he could be listening to this. His name's Adam. He's a huge Jets fan. And he posted up on Facebook, and it was from like 5 years ago, where the Jets had the #1 rated draft. They won 3 games that year and completely rebuilt the team in under 4 years. Nobody from that draft class is on that team anymore. And it was the #1 rated draft across the board.
It's all about
That's what I think
coaching.
this Jets team. I think this Jets team's the same thing. I don't want Olave or Wilson. I think they both could be really good, or they both could just be good receivers on a dominant team.
Wait. Did you mean Elijah or?
No, I'm saying I don't want to touch a Ohio State receiver.
This is just
Don't
getting
want 'em.
random. This is just
Blasphemy.
like random.
How is
hate
that
here.
random?
Blast.
Because we're talking
You
about the
don't know who's better.
Jets.
I
I
thought
get it,
I was
but
the one that didn't like Ohio State.
But
Yeah,
what I'm saying
this
is with
tar-
Garrett Wilson,
This is targeting.
what I'm saying is with Garrett Wilson, you really don't know how good he is. You don't. He was on a super dominant team in a weak Big
right.
Ten that has 3 first-round receivers on Ohio State. How do you know which one's the best one? You don't.
Well, the best one is still in college.
Probably.
Yes,
that's
he
what
is.
I'm saying. Like, Wilson could be good, but where you're
Keep
having to draft
coming.
him, you're expecting to be great.
They keep coming.
Yeah.
Just keep drafting the Ohio
God,
State
you guys got
receivers. and you're gonna be
Michael
fine.
Thomas and McLaurin, and it's like, wide receiver you. Like, come on.
Oh my God! Wait, give it 2 years.
He
There's
could.
gonna be
He could, but he also could just be okay.
blasphemy.
Alex is just
It was
mad
also
because Braylon
disrespect for Kurt
Edwards and
Samuel.
Mario Manningham weren't that good.
And Donovan
He
People
loves
Jones hasn't
Michigan.
showed anything.
Hey, I never claimed them to be dogs when they came out.
Also, Jameson, your boy on Detroit, played for OSU for 3 years
Yeah, and so did Joe Burrow. Why are we talking about this?
because you
He
made a
finished on
mention
another
of
team.
Joe Burrow was on the bench.
Yes.
Do you never
For
say
no
Jalen
reason.
Hurts is an Alabama quarterback? Because I have heard you say it.
Hurts actually played at Alabama.
Jameson played at Ohio State.
Kinda.
No, not
No, he
kinda.
did.
He did.
Kinda.
He did.
He
left,
really-
he left once
really-
they brought in JS. I can never say
Dude,
his
they
name.
let him get unleashed. I'm not
Jackson
saying
Smith and Jigba.
Jameson.
They
Yeah.
That's how good the Ohio State University receivers are. Jameson Williams couldn't even get on the field.
Look
Neither
at
could-
Robbie.
I
Robbie's
hate
going
Dwayne
what
like
this
this
Haskins-
about
conversation
it.
has turned into.
Dwayne
Getting
Haskins
started.
was started over Joe Burrow. Maybe there's just a couple guys on the team who are blind. Could be.
Not Brian Hartline. All right,
I'll give you that.
let's wrap it up here. If you're not
Don't draft
already
Jets
following
players.
us, that's a good point.
Or Patriots
On
running
Twitter
backs.
at DadBodFS. Also, Dadbod Fantasy Squad on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We post the audio of today's recording on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Cascade. Is it Cascade? One day I'm
All
gonna
the big
actually
ones.
look.
All the big ones.
All the big ones.
For the OSU hater, Alex, for House, for Robbie, peace.
Go Pats.